Feral cats are a nuisance in Tucson and all over the country. The hardworking individuals at the Humane Society of Southern Arizona are trying their best to eliminate and control this problem with their trap, neuter, release program.
I'm Dr. Jen Wilcox. I'm Chief Veterinarian here at the Humane Society of Southern Arizona, and I'm a shelter vet, which means I'm a veterinarian that primarily takes care of homeless animals. We have a trap, neuter, return program here that's funded by a couple of different sources, but we're open 6 days a week for feral cat caretakers to bring cats in traps, and we do a bunch of different things for them. We sedate them, they get a good thorough physical exam, spay neuter, deworming, flea and ear mite treatments, and they get an ear tip so that they can be identified as sterilized for the rest of their lives. A lot of them have fight wounds, infections, and we can give them injections of long-acting antibiotics and pain meds to take care of that stuff. So we feel really lucky. If you live in Tucson and you're a feral cat, you're in a pretty good place because we've been working really hard to help their populations out.
My name is Samantha Esquivel, and I am the Public Relations Lead here at the Humane Society. Feral cats are basically wild cats, cats that are fractious, cats that cannot be held or touched because they've grown up without being socialized with anybody. The TNR program is funded by a lot of private donors. It is also funded by AWASA, which is a local it's a local organization that helps provide different services and different funds for local shelters as well as for local pet owners.
A real feral cat is not an animal that wants to be with people, so we don't put feral cats up for adoption, but there are always cases every year where a cat comes in and it's obviously like somebody's cat, and we hope that it's going to go home to somebody's house, but we also see a lot of young kittens that come in that are probably just going to get eaten by something, and so we will try to rehabilitate those and put them up for adoption. There's a window of socialization that if you can get to kittens before they're a couple months old, you may be able to get them used to being around people and get them back into a domestic lifestyle, because they are domestic animals that have gone wild, so they should be domesticated.
Okay, so I'm Sarah Gromley, and I'm the Public Relations Coordinator at the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. In the county we have about 100,000 feral cats, so they are not domesticated animals. They'll never be pets, and they're completely happy where they are, but there are some things that the community as a whole can do to make them a little healthier and really improve human-cat relationships in the community. So how it works is if people want to be informed if maybe the cat has leukemia, which is a really nasty disease that's contagious and can really affect their quality of life, we'll let people know to make that decision. We really prefer not to put out animals that maybe might put others at risk, because it's a pretty nasty disease. Trap, neuter, return is not only humane, but it's very cost effective and effective in reducing numbers as a whole, because a lot of times the traditional method of catch and kill leaves a vacuum. When you take cats out of their habitat and don't return them, the resources are still there. So cats move into the area and use those resources and are still able to reproduce. I mean, our numbers as an organization have gone down dramatically, even just with intakes over, the decades that we've been in business. So, we attribute so much of that to spaying and neutering, and trap, neuter, return is a really big part of managing cat populations, which can really spiral out of control if you don't keep them in check.
A cat neuter takes about 15 seconds, and a cat spay that's not complicated should take 3 minutes. At the clinic for all surgeries, our average across the year is 38. Some days we do 20 and some days we do 50. Feral cat surgeries are a portion of that, and sometimes we'll only get a handful, and some days we'll get 20. So it's impossible to predict because it depends on the weather, and when new colonies get new caretakers, they will usually catch a lot of animals right off the bat, and then things get harder as the cats get smarter.
The nice thing is Tucson has a really active group of animal lovers, and so we collaborate a lot with some other organizations. So it is really a community effort, yeah.
That it's a great program that we have here, especially because it's cutting down on the spread of disease amongst cats. It's also cutting down on lots of cats being wild, roaming around, because they can be pests. Lots of cats getting into things and really invading people's yards. And basically what I want to say is it's a really great program in that if people don't know about it, we want to educate them and we want to spread the word that we have this available. If you have feral cats, bring them down so they're not continuing to breed. And oftentimes people say, well, you know, why don't we just, you know, put all of the feral cats down? Why don't we just euthanize them all? But it's a bigger picture than that because, you know, these feral cats didn't mean to be feral cats. And so the responsible thing is to get them altered.
If they're going to feed them, they should spay neuter them. And then once they're spayed neuter, they can feed them as much as they want.